probably heard me mention. You heard me mention the Miracle Mornings book that I would highly recommend. And it talks about how to have a champion morning and how the morning will set up the rest of your day. Hal wrote both of these books. This guy, Hal Elrod, he's in the Cutco Hall of Fame, one of the top selling reps of all time. He's an awesome dude. But not only that, dude literally died in a car wreck and was resuscitated like 6 minutes after he died or whatever. He also is a cancer survivor. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But this dude isn't just a talker, right? He doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk, he lives it. And so I'm just super excited to share with y'all everything that he came up with when it comes to the miracle equation. And so he wrote the Miracle Morning first, then he wrote the miracle equation. And he says that people think that he's just like kind of milking the title from the Miracle Morning and, oh, that was a hit, so let me come up with the miracle equation. And he goes, not that's not actually the case. I actually came up with the miracle equation 8 years before I came up with the Miracle Morning. And he came up with the miracle equation as a sales rep going in to SC1 or SC2. He didn't specify. He just said one of the big company sales conferences. And so here's how he developed it. He was going for a all-time company record in the sales competition. All right. And his manager like says, I know some of y'all are going for some records. Literally, this is like 2 days before the contest started. He goes, I know some of y'all are going for records, and he's telling the whole team, but the conference is actually going to be cut short. It's only going to be 10 days instead of 14 because we're moving the conference date up. And Hal's like, no, I'm going for the all-time record. He goes, well, okay. Since the conference is going to be earlier, I still have like the 14 days, right? He goes, nope, you got to do in 10 days what you were trying to do in 14. And Hal's like, dude, there is no way. It would be a miracle if I did that. And so that night, he's like starting to give up on himself. He's like, there's absolutely no way. Nobody's done this in 14 days. How on earth do I expect to do this in 10? So he's like, dude, should I even try for this? He's going through all this stuff, this battle in his head. And he says that in order, like what if I did do it in 10? He said, just what if? Like, so what if I did it in 10? Like, nobody's done this in 14. Let's just say I did it in 10. What would I have to do right now to make that a reality? He says there's only two things that prevent people from reaching their goals. Number one is a lack of faith, and number two is consistent effort. That's the only two things: a lack of faith and an inconsistent effort. We lack faith that we can accomplish something, so we don't even show up for it. We don't even try for it. Maybe we do show up, but we're not all in. And so when we put in some effort and things don't go the way we want them to, we just give up. Or maybe we want to achieve it, but we don't really think we can. So we only put in half effort. And guess what? You ain't gonna hit it if you only put it half effort. And so for inconsistent effort, a lot of times we don't commit to the actions because we're not bought into the outcome. We let our emotions start controlling our behaviors. And so that lets us change our day to day instead of looking at the long term, the end goal, right? So he says, if I were to even have a shot at this, I would need unwavering faith. And that means whether things were going awesome, whether they're going terrible, whether I, had 3 days in a row where I made no sales. Everybody that I called was for some reason just automatically mad at me before I even said hi. In the good times or the bad times, I would need unwavering faith that no matter what, by the end of the competition, I would hit my goal and I would be victorious. He says, so I would need that. And I would also need extraordinary effort. So no matter whether I'm on track for my goals, or whether I'm on pace until the last hour of the competition, I need to be doing everything that I possibly can all the way up until the last hour, because of that unwavering faith that he knew he would get to his goals. So he thought to himself, well, even if I had unwavering faith, all the way from start to finish, even if I had that extraordinary effort, I outworked everybody. I didn't just work harder than everybody, I also worked smarter than everybody. And I went all the way to the last second. He goes, even if I did that, I could still fail. He says that's what stops most people. They realize that they could give it all that they got and still come up short. And that's what stops most people. But are y'all most people? Like, unless I got the wrong memo, I'm not speaking to most people right now. So if you're saying to yourself, "Oh, I'm not special. I can't accomplish something like that." Right? There's no way. I've only sold this much in my career. How in the world can I sell this much in a 10-day period? I don't know how many days we got left. August 5th. So that's like we got like 12 days or something like that left, right? How can I accomplish that? All right, well, do me a favor, okay? And you can send me your address because I'm gonna send you a box of tissues in the mail, okay? And then let's get to work because you are special. You're awesome. You have the resources around you, and you have the things that can get you to reach that success. And so he says that even though he thought that he could still fail, he he heard this Jim Rohn quote. All right, I'll write this one down. This one's huge. I don't know if you heard, Jim Rohn. He's this huge motivational speaker, this huge guru that was like I think big in the 70s, 80s, 90s. I still listen to him because he's awesome. But Jim Rohn says, "What you get by achieving your goals pales in comparison to who you become by achieving your goals." I'm gonna say that again. What you get by achieving your goals pales in comparison to who you become by achieving your goals. And Hal said when he was thinking about that, he goes, I win either way. Whether I achieve the goal or not, I'm going to receive a massive amount of growth that's going to carry way beyond this competition. Because if the competition is the only thing that matters, right? Then that's why you could look day to day. Oh no, I'm not on pace. I'm not going to hit it. This, that, and the other. He goes, no, that's not how we're thinking. That's not how champions think. We're thinking down the road. So he's thinking, even if I fail, I still win. So he said that was a huge paradigm shift for him because he realized who you become is way more valuable than actually achieving your set goal. And that made him realize really he couldn't fail, right? Because you could call it failing, but nah, that ain't failure because the amount of growth that you're going to receive is way more valuable than actually hitting that goal. So long story short, he had that unwavering faith and that extraordinary effort all 10 days of that competition. And on his very last appointment, okay, he was still a pretty long way away from his goal. He did well, he was very consistent, worked really hard, had unwavering faith, was very consistent. But on that last appointment, he was still pretty far away from his goal. And he sold about 30% of his entire goal in one demo. And it was that very last demo before the conference. And you know what he says? It was a miracle. But if you think that was a miracle, a few years after that, Hal was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer. And the doctor said that he probably wouldn't live. And you know what he said to himself? The miracle equation. That's it. That's how I'm going to defy the odds and I'm going to do something I've never done before. And boy, did he. Now he's healthy as a horse and he's kicking butt in every aspect of his life. So he then goes on to talk about why the equation is so important. If you don't have faith that you can achieve it, you're not going to put forth the effort. If you do have the faith that you can achieve it, you're fueled to put forth that effort. But then if the effort doesn't lead to what you want and you haven't fully committed to the unwavering faith, your faith's going to go out the window. So your faith fuels your effort and your effort fuels your faith. They feed off one another. You can't have one without the other. They feed together. So he says he had an epiphany that he calls, he said his business, relies on calling referrals. Okay, sound familiar, right? all of our business relies on calling referrals. Once you get out of your warm market, it's all about people that you either barely know or you don't know at all, calling them referrals. So he says, okay, so let me think long term here. This is after the competition, right? So he goes, let's see here. What if I make 10 calls a day, 5 days a week, or I mean 7 for that matter, 5 days a week for 52 weeks out of the year? I would make X amount of sales, right? And that would equal X amount of income, right? So he goes, okay, 10 calls a day. Yeah, that would equal X. All right. And you can run those numbers if you want, go to your closing percentage, go to your average order, whatever. That's going to change throughout 52 weeks. But he said, that's simple business math equation. I do this many calls, I'll make this many sales, make this much income. Okay, it's X. Whatever X is, don't matter. Because he goes, wait a minute. What if I just did 20 calls a day for, 5 days a week, 7 days a week for 52 weeks out of the year? Then I would sell 2X and earn 2X. He goes, wait a minute. What if I did 30 calls a day, 52 weeks out of the year? Then I would make 3X. And so he started to develop this idea of, wait a minute, why do I have a sales goal every week? Why don't I just commit to the certain number of calls every week instead of a sales goal? And so he says the only thing that really you can control as a rep is making those calls. You can't control what kind of attitude your customer's in when you answer the phone. You can't control who's going to buy, right? You don't know what people's financial situation are. You can't control how busy people are, whatever the case is. But what you can control is making those calls. And so he goes, why would I let my business rely on other people when I can make my business rely on me, which that's the thing I can count on, right? If like at the end of the day, if you're going to bet on anybody, I would bet on myself, right? Because, not saying you're perfect, because you're not. I'm certainly not perfect, right? But I would rather bet on myself because that's something that I can control. And so he talks about how he also started to develop this idea of how I just got to make 10 calls, 20 calls a day, because for his certain goals that he was achieving, he settled on 20 calls a day. And he says he removed so much stress from his life because all he was doing is making 20 calls a day. He didn't have that tunnel vision. He didn't have, hey, oh dude, I only sold $900 this week. I only sold $1,500. I did 20 presentations, dude. That's terrible. I only closed 5 of them. No. He focused only on the calls that he made each and every day because he knew long term the numbers were going to play themselves out. They always do. The numbers always will play themselves out, but you got to be consistent. And so his routine was this. This might surprise y'all, but it was this. Every morning he would get up, have his morning routine, and a part of his morning routine, he would make 10 calls. That's it, 10 calls. All right. And then he would go chill by the pool for a little bit. Yeah, he'd go chill by the pool. Then, once he was calculated, refreshed, ready to go for the day, he would go and do the presentations, the sales calls, right? The demos, as we call them, that he had already set from days before. So he'd do those for the day that had already been set. And then that evening, he would make 10 more calls and do whatever he wanted for the evening. He says it was the least stress I've ever had in my whole life. Literally, I did not care who answered the phone, who bought from me, who gave me a lot of referrals or who didn't. I didn't care. I just committed to making the phone calls because I knew that the results would play out because he had that unwavering faith that they would. And so for the next 4 months, he was the #1 sales rep in the whole company. Why? Because he changed the game, or really he changed the rules of the game. Who says that your sales number has to define how good you are as a salesman, or that's your outcome for the week, and that's going to decide if it was a good week or not, whether your sales goal? He says that his manager would call him up every week and be like, all right, Hal, what's your sales goal for this week? And he goes, however many sales, 20 calls will get me. 20 calls a day, right? And his manager's like, no, I need it like a sales like goal for the week, so I can. And Hal goes, no, I changed the rules of the game. Now, guys, I'm not saying don't listen to your manager, all right? But after they hear this, they probably they get what you're going with making a call goal rather than a demo goal or a sales goal. But he goes, I'm not emotionally attached to how many sales I make this week or what my sales goal is. I don't care. I'm gonna make 20 calls every day, regardless of if I feel great that day, if I just want to talk to everybody, and I'm like, yeah, yo, what's up, Miss Jones? How's it going? Whether I feel like that or I feel like, dude, I don't talk to nobody today. He goes, it didn't matter. I'm gonna make those 20 calls every single day with no excuses, just to see what happens. The next 4 months, the number one sales rep in the whole company. And he says, the best part is that all these other reps, and he goes, I feel bad for them. That's why I'm sharing it now. Is they're all still tied to their emotion. They're emotionally attached to their results. He goes, I'm not. I don't care. He's chilling by the pool. He's making his 10 calls, doing his presentations. Doesn't care if you buy, if the customer buys or not. And he's eliminating stress, hanging out with his friends at night, not staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning, but he's still doing what he wants. And he's emotionally detached from that outcome. Guys, how awesome would that be? To be able to commit to the actions that you can control and to not worry about it. Because, guys, that does so many things for you. Number one, it is way easier on the mind, okay? When you're not constantly beating yourself up or, oh, no, am I going to hit this goal? Oh, no. When you're like, hey, I'm committing to this action every single day. All right. This is push. So for some of y'all, 20 calls a day ain't going to be enough. Right. And y'all know that. That's what y'all committed to before push even started. But 20 calls ain't going to be enough. All right. But you commit to those calls. And regardless of the outcome for that day, who cares? You're not worried about today. Oh, you're just shooting for August 5th. That's where we're going. We're going all out till August 5th. All right. And no matter what, by the end of August, at August 5th, when we get there, you're going to be up on that stage, right? Last week, we did the visualization of seeing yourself on stage, right? That is awesome. See it, guys. Speak it into existence and just watch it come to reality. One thing that I've been doing on my demos is like, I'm sitting talking to people, and as I'm getting to know them, I'm building rapport, right? I'm getting pretty good at building rapport. I feel like, these people are family. 10 minutes into the presentation, I'm asking them, all these questions and stuff. And they're like, sharing all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know why you're sharing that to me. I barely know you. But anyways, building this connection. And another thing that emotionally detaches, that emotional detachment from your results does is when you're in the demo, you don't care if they buy. Now, obviously, you want them to buy something, but do you think that your client or your customer can't sense that? They absolutely can, because when you're desperate, you're like, oh, I really need to sell to hit my goal. They can sense that. So being emotionally attached makes it way better for not only you, because it takes a lot of the stress out of your life. It takes a lot of, for some people, I know, like for me, sometimes it's hard for me to sleep because I'm like, oh, I'm so stressed. I don't know if I can do this, when I'm in school and stuff. But now I'm like, dude, who cares? We're just making the calls each and every day. I'm hitting my goals. Check, boom, boom, boom. And so when you win every day, dude, you're gonna win the month. You're gonna win the competition. So that's kind of just wrapping up what everything that we talked about, that Hal was talking about, is number one, what you need for success if you want to achieve any goal that's great is unwavering faith and extraordinary effort, right? Number two, you've got to become emotionally detached from the outcome. All right. You've got to focus on what you can control, not what you can't control, because what you can control, all right, is the only thing that you can do. If you can't control it, why are you going to worry about it? It's taking your time, and your energy and your effort away from what's most important onto something that doesn't even matter. So you're literally eating away at yourself. Why would you do that? Right? Instead, put that effort and that focus into what you can control. All right. So commit to that. And then the third and final thing is don't have tunnel vision. It's so easy to do. Everybody's like that. In the age of social media and all this stuff, we want now results. We want it to come now, at the click of a button. We want to call people up and in 5 minutes close the deal. Boom, homie. That's right. But it don't work like that, guys. You can't be focused on the here and now and just today. Don't focus on winning the day. Focus on winning the competition. Focus on winning the week. Focus on winning the month. And really focus on winning the year, because here's how it works, guys. And this is all I got for you, and then we'll open it up for comments and questions. But I heard this quote one time, and it was one of the most powerful quotes that I've ever heard, because it spans from the here and now to your entire life. So here it is. If you win the morning, you'll most likely win the day. All right. And if you win enough days, you'll win the week. Now, if you win enough weeks, you'll win the month. See, right? And if you win enough months, you'll win the year. Okay. But when you win enough years, you win life. Okay. But guess what? Because it spans all that, in essence, what is that saying? If you want to win life, win the morning, right? Win the day, but you're thinking long term. And so it's the little actions compiled over and over and over again over time that produces that compound effect that future you will look back and say, I'm proud of you, dude. Thank you for not doing the easy thing, not doing what everybody else is doing, but committing to the things that's actually going to get you those results long term, not looking right here, right now, looking long term. Thank you for doing that. Future you is going to thank you so much. You're going to be in such good shape. Us managers, everybody that your family, going to be like cheering you on in the future. But guess what? You got to start now. I know some of y'all's family and friends, they're not bought in. Come on, you're selling knives? Really? You think that's going to get you, like, what are you doing? They don't understand, guys, and that's okay. You got to do the things now. Show them later. They're going to love it later. They're going to love future you. But in order for them to love future you, you got to change now you. And once you change now you, you're going to change future you. Guys, go win life. That's all I got. So we'll open it up for comments, questions, shares. Just go for it. I want to hear from it. What do y'all think?
Woo! Wow. Oh, Lauren wants to say something.
All right, go ahead, Hi. John, and then Lauren, go ahead, and then John's next. We'll go like that.
Oh no, it's cool. Hi, I'm Lauren. I wanted to say something. Drocklin, that I only caught like the little bit, but that was fire. I remember in 2019, whenever I did my first alliance, that's something that they taught me was do what you need to now. That way you can end up that person in the future. Like if you want to be like raw, like ripped in the gym, like you got to start working out today. You can't just say it's going to happen in 10 years and expect it to happen. Like you have to be who you want to be in 10 years today. And I just thought that was so good. And everything that I needed to hear, like win the morning, you win life. Like I remember whenever I started doing my savers with Hal Elrod, like I was like, I would read the book. I was like, this stuff don't really work. And then I did it the first morning and I was like, okay, never not doing this again. So I thought it was just really on point with everything that you said, like from what I caught. And I am just thankful. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing with us. And all right, thanks.
Thanks, Lauren. All right, what you got, John?
Dude, so many things. I'm such a writer, but like you're making me type things now. So I love that what you get by achieving your goals pales in comparison to who you become by achieving your goals, right? I remember my first SC2 guys back in 2018, and I did not think I'd be a butter spreader manager. in 2023, right? That'd probably be the last thing, Aiden, like I would have on my list of things to do. I mean, I probably dunking a basketball would be higher than that. Okay, cool. I mean, I got ups, I got bunnies, if you know what I mean. But anyway, I gotta get things off the top shelf. But no, I love that, Drock, because it really like just reminds us to like enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, right? And so it reminds us of like what Kathy said earlier, guys. And that's the point of Alliance. Hopefully, you are starting to see the whole puzzle box come, or the whole puzzle, like the pieces being put together. Like Drock talked about visualization again, and Kathy earlier this week talked a lot about how things are happening for us. In our life, not to us, and they're strengthening us. If we ask for strength, and God's gonna, or whatever you believe in, is gonna put things in our life to give us that strength, and that's who you're gonna become. And so when those next challenges arise, like you're stronger because of it. And so I just love how Drock, your message really just encapsulated everything we've learned so far with Mike and Kathy, and all of our messages from Jacob, and just dude, that's awesome. And I don't know if you guys know Drock's personal story. I'm not going to share it, buddy. That's your stuff that one day, if you feel comfortable sharing, you definitely can. But guys, Drock has gone through personally a lot of stuff on his end too, and it's just amazing, Drock, to see the individual you are. You always give so much to myself and the team, and to your family, and to your church community, and your friend group, my man. And you are definitely winning the year, bud, and it's really cool to see. So thank you for your message this morning, my man. And dude, it's been an absolute joy to see you grow over these 18 months. Dude, I'm excited. We're gonna do life together. Heck yeah. But thank you for that message, buddy.
Oh yeah, thanks, John. That means a lot, bro.